right, Alchemists, welcome back to another episode of Alchemy Crypto. Thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not already like to subscribe, please go down below and hit the like button. All right, with that out of the way, let's jump right into it, folks. There's a lot going down, a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, a lot of interesting news out there in the market, a lot happening. So let's just get right into it. Take a peek, see what the crypto overall market cap is doing. All right, let's see. Looks like the crypto market cap, just refresh this real quick, coming in at 961 billion, below that $1 trillion mark. That's okay, folks. We're in the bear. It's a great time to accumulate DCA. Build your bags cheap in the bear, and when the bull comes back, you will be positioned accordingly. All right, so let's take a look at TradingView and see what TradingView's got up. The overall market cap showing 885 billion, a little less there, a little difference off, but it looks like we're just chopping sideways for the last few days here, and probably coming down. I think we're going to see that leg down. Take a look at Bitcoin. It's chopping sideways at that 19K mark. Not a lot of price action here, folks. Some volatility earlier. It would have been a fat short and a fat long if you had been in on it. If you did catch that, congratulations. I was still asleep. Anyway, let's take a look at the first thing on the agenda here. It looks like is going to be the markets look green. Fresh. U.S. market's looking green. Okay. Fed officials expect higher rates to stay in place. That meeting is coming, and he's probably staying hawkish, folks. All right, let's check in on fear and greed. We're at a 20. I think it's still sitting there at a 20. Flat leak, folks, showing you fiat currencies flying around the world, instantly settling anywhere, anytime, 365 days a year, 24/7, instantly in 3 seconds. Folks, this thing is happening. There is major market liquidity coming. When those liquidity pools open, folks, this token is going to melt faces. XRP is going to melt faces like it was intended to do, like it was developed to do. It's scalable. It's solving a real world problem. There's real utility and functionality. And if you don't know, now you know. So let's take a look. Shout out to DAI. He's got this. Let's check this guy out.
Yeah, I've got two things that hit me really hard about Bob and I's conversation this morning. Number one, he doesn't know anything about XRP. He doesn't know anything about XLM. The only thing he knows is that he's meeting with a company called Ripple. Give you a little background on who Bob is. He's a market maker. Those of you who know what market makers are, most of them.
He's a market maker, folks. He provides liquidity to global markets and financial institutions around the world. His buddy Bob. More on Bob.
On the retail level, all create liquidity for the market. They grease the wheel for the bid, ask, and offer market to keep the market moving and flowing. I don't want to get too deep into that, but that's what he does. He does it on a completely different, higher level. He does it not internationally, but he does it on a global liquidity market that is really important to keep the world's economies moving. He would explain it totally different, but I'm trying to keep it in layman's terms here for you guys.
Please
for
do.
all of us.
Thank you.
Not just you guys, me as well.
Yeah, me too.
He was notified last week that they'd be meeting in a couple of weeks with a company called Ripple. He didn't know anything about Ripple. Like most of us, he thought it was a wine. I told him, no, that's the parent company of XRP. He goes,
a Jerry song.
well, I've heard of XRP. I don't know what it does or what it is. I know there's some kind of lawsuit. I said, yeah, we've talked about that before, Bob. He's like, yeah, okay. What do you know about what's happening? And he said, well, I know that we're going to provide liquidity for what they said is a new market that they're forming. And I thought, a new market? And he said, yeah, it's not a retail market, it's more of a public market. I was like, a public market? Wow. A CBDC? And he said, I don't know what that is exactly. What is that? And I'm like, a central
So Bob knows things, but he don't know too much.
bank digital currency? He said, no, that can't be it. I said, well, why don't you believe that could be it? He said, well, we don't deal with the central banks. I'm like, well, have you floated liquidity or created liquidity for markets internationally with any kind of digital? Yeah, digital money and this and that. And I said, who'd you do that with? Oh, we only work when we work with a government level. We only provide liquidity for the Treasury Department.
The Treasury, folks. Did you hear it? All the money, folks. It's coming. It's coming. This thing is happening. There will be a level playing field after settlement and regulatory clarity. A level playing field will happen, and then there will be the flip of the switch moment, folks. If you don't know, now you know. Now, shout out to ZR for this. The other day we talked about Swift partnering with Chainlink. This is big news right here. It says it right here, folks. Read it in black and white. It's right in front of you. Management Associates recently announced that it has enabled its customers to connect to RippleNet through the Swiss root service developed by the IBIS. Users will be able to access a gateway to the Swift International Payment Network. What that means is basically that Swift has partnered with RippleNet. They're working together. It's right here in black and white. Shout out to Zach Rector for that. Check it out. Now, we've got a couple other things to check out. Let's look at this guy. Who's this guy? His name is James Wallace, Vice President of Central Bank Engagements at Ripple. Now, this guy, he's advised many fintech startups that are leveraging blockchain and distributed ledger technology, helping their executive teams develop a strategic vision and operational plans to leverage the technology for economic and social good. So this guy's out there working with central banks around the world. The partnerships have been made, folks. Deals have been done. Deals have been done. All right, now let's talk about Gary Gensler. This guy's back in the news making headlines. Wall Street is ready for war with Gary Gensler. He said in a statement he's coming for everything. He's after digital assets. He's after Wall Street. He's after everything. This guy is just on a tear. And shout out to this guy, Rick Muffy. SEC's after Yuga Labs and the Bored Apes, calling them securities. NFTs being considered securities. This guy's out of control, man. He's after it all. He wants everything. Gary Gensler wants it all. He needs to calm down, settle down. He's making headlines again out here. Now, next, we got, let's bring up next slide here. Let's see what we got. Mojaloop Foundation. This is talking about the moment when it's going to happen, folks. The level playing field is about to happen, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. If you know, then you know. Let's check it out.
Old and new.
Most efficient, fair, and global way as possible, and that implies clearly
a level playing field?
Been losing hundreds of billions of dollars with the European Union, and we just want it to be a level playing field.
Making U.S. companies competitive. We need to create a level playing field.
Exactly the issue we need to address with what you call the level playing field.
Whatever we do, we create a level playing field.
But there also has to be a level playing.
So when we get into
All right, folks. Level playing field. It is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Now, we got this in the news. Just take a look at a list of leading partners of Ripple and how they use XRP. You got Amex, you got MoneyGram, PNC. A lot of these banks you guys probably heard of. There is lists upon lists over 300 banks worldwide. Here's another list you can take a look at. This is over at XRP Arcade if you're interested. This, all the banks and the partnerships Ripple has made. Deals have been done. Handshakes have been made behind closed doors. Deals have been done, folks. This thing is going to happen. The level playing field after regulatory clarity. And the liquidity pools will open. Now this. BNY. If you don't know who BNY is, they're one of the oldest lenders in the U.S. Bank of New York Mellon. BNY is now offering custody. And to this point, traditional fund managers are interested in holding digital assets who otherwise rely on BNI Mellon for other custodial lenders to perform the necessary back office tasks related to their usual securities holdings, typically would have to find a firm specializing in cryptocurrency for custody services. That is no more. They now are custodying crypto. So don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do, folks. Watch what they do. Now this. We all know that 2 quarters of negative GDP is the definition of a recession. However, you have Janet Yellen out there telling you, oh, it's not so bad. U.S. economy's doing well. I don't think this lady buys her own groceries. I don't think she's feeling the pinch at the pump when she's putting gas in her own car, because I highly doubt she does either of those, you know? So she's spinning the narrative for old Sleepy Joe here. Biden says very slight recession possible. Downplays the risk. Well, I got news for Joe and Janet. We're already in one. It's just a joke. It's just a distraction, folks. They're trying to distract you. Watch what they do, not what they say. Speaking of watching what they do, not what they say, look at this guy, Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan CEO, big shot. He talked about, you know, the Fed and there's a recession and there's a hurricane on the horizon. I think he was quoted as saying that hurricane, we don't know if it's garden variety or if it's going to be a Katrina or a Andrew. You know, I agree with him there, but on this whole thing, he's trying to pull the wool over your eyes, folks. Jamie Dimon calls dangerous crypto a decentralized Ponzi scheme that is not good for anyone. So he's warning you, stay away. But don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. What is this? Onyx. What is Onyx? Onyx is a digital blockchain solution for cross-border payments using what? JPM coin. So they're jumping in. They have their own token. They're a part of blockchain. They're going to be a part of this new financial infrastructure. They just don't want you in it. They want you to go put your money in the bank, and they'll give you a tiny little bit of interest-bearing interest on your bank account, on your savings account, or whatever you have with them. And they'll keep all the crypto gains. Or you can go stake in DeFi on a crypto platform and earn, you know, 3, 5, 10, 12, 15, 20. And when you get into the higher percentages, I think there's more risk there, so manage your risk accordingly. However, the banks are shaking in their boots, folks. They know what's coming. They know what's coming. A level playing field and a flip of the switch
In the global
moment.
connect-
Now, let's check this out.
That
This
will give
is
them
Jim
time to
Rickards. Want to play you guys this video because what he
reset
says
the
in
world
this
economy
video
according to
is
their vision.
unbelievable.
As the coming crisis unfolds, President Trump will be
We're going to
powerless
take a
to
look
stop
at
it.
this.
In fact,
and hear what he says in the beginning.
They've literally rigged the laws of international finance. Everything is basically in place right now. And there's essentially no way to stop this from happening. When the crisis hits, they'll flip the switch.
They'll flip the switch, folks. The moment is coming. I'm telling you, alchemists, it is here. It is now. We are near. Let's check this out. I'll leave you guys with this. Alchemists, thanks for coming. I see you out there. East Coast, West Coast, offshore. Till next time, alchemists, stand by for the flip. Flip the switch.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening.
Flip the switch.
Flip the switch.
All right, alchemists, until next time, everybody, thanks for coming. Please smash